It's day one and we're at the Hume Hotel. We're gonna go talk to a paranormal expert, Chris Holland, and some people who work there and go investigate ourselves to see if this place is really haunted. Let's go.
Hume Hotel is very, very alive, shall we say. Not just with wonderful guests and all the great food and that, but there's also something else that goes on here that people like to talk about and some people don't like to talk about. And that is those guests that have never left the Hume Hotel. And the big question is, why didn't they leave?
The Hume Hotel was built over a century ago in 1898 by the two Hume brothers. The Hume has watched the architecture and landscape of Nelson change and has gone through many changes itself. As it jumped from owner to owner, it had lots of renos and makeovers, changing both interior and exterior.
That's it, 335. Yeah, sometimes the people have checked into that room and the TV is turned on and started changing channels while the remote was right beside the bed.
There was other reports in that room of kids, of voices, of activity going on, to the point where the owners of the Hume Hotel actually changed it, reconstructed, and renovated, and room 335 exists no more. One of the managers of the hotel, he was cleaning up and doing something late at night, and the front desk came to him and said, "A woman wants to check out." He said, "So what?" He goes, "But she just checked in, so I kind of want you to talk to her. She seems really disheveled." He went up to the woman and talked to her and said, "Hi, I hear you're checking out." And she said, "You know, the Hume Hotel's a beautiful hotel. I love it. Everything is fabulous about it. But I just don't want to stay here." I said, "Why? Please, I'm very open. I hear so many different stories about the Hume Hotel. Please let me know." She goes, "Well, I was going up into room 335. He's like, "Yeah." She goes, "I opened the door to room 335. She goes, "Right to the right, there's a gentleman already in room 335. He had a bowler hat on. He tipped it and said hello. And I said hello and shut the door and I left." The manager said, "Well, there's nobody in that room." She goes, "Well, I know that. And you know that, but he doesn't know that. So I'm going to let him have room 335, and I honestly want to go somewhere else." And she did.
Fred Hume, one of the two Hume brothers, is rumored to be the ghost who haunts. If he is the ghost who haunts this very hotel, that would add up for the years of paranormal activity here, as Fred Hume died in Nelson at the age of 74 in 1935.
Oh, it's just Fred. Oh, it's just Fred, you know. So he became actually a very kind of well-liked ghost in a way, because you almost kind of felt like you knew him.
So yeah, I'm up in the Hume room. This is first time coming in back from since 1990s, being here before, and I'm up there gonna vacuum. And I turn it on and I start to spin, just spinning and spinning. And I'm wondering what's going on. And it wasn't really spinning, it was more like being twirled because I'm in a ballroom, right? The Hume room used to be the old ballroom. And then I see this shadow with the top hat, and it's all black, and his cape even. So I asked him, I said, "Mr. Hume, you know, can you just, I need to work." I said, "I need to vacuum, so you need to stop the spinning, right?" And he did, and he allowed me to work.
So as you see, a lot of people from Hume Hotel has a lot of ghost stories, so this place is definitely haunted. And if you're not a coward, go visit Nelson and try to spend a night in this scary hotel. And we are moving to the next place.
It is day two and we are at the Capitol Theater. The Capitol Theater was originally built in 1927 before it eventually got ruined due to neglect in the 40s and 60s. It did get restored in 1988 and became the theater that we know now. It is also very famously known for its hauntings, especially in the basement. That is where the costume shop is, and that is where we're going to go today, as well as we're going to interview some people working there and do a little investigating ourselves.
So for me personally, having to close the space by myself, there are definitely times where there's what I would say is a big energy shift, and it's kind of the need to just get out of the space. There are some nights where I'm totally fine being in here by myself and shutting everything down. It's no problem. But then there are other nights for sure where it's like a shift in the air. Yeah, the Ghost Light started as, it's actually a very long running theater tradition that is not just held to our theater specifically. It's theaters across the world have ghost lights, and it started as a safety measure and then became a superstition rather quickly.
Here we have the infamous ghost light. Ghost lights are an old theater tradition that theaters all over the world have. If you put the light up before you have a show, your show will go well. That way, the ghosts can perform at night when you have the light up, and they won't intrude on your shows during the day. Here is backstage, and these are the pass-unders. This is where actors go when they want to switch sides during a scene. Up here, we have a bunch of names etched into the wall. Some of these are even from the 20s. This one says 1932. And that's 1938.
So there was one time where me and my coworker Terry, who's the technical director here, were in our office, aka the green room at the back of the theater, and we noticed this picture of a man in the green room. And he asked me, he's like, "Oh, where did that come from?" And neither one of us knew. We went on a bit of a sleuth to figure out where this portrait of this man came from. And nobody put it up. We talked to our ED. She didn't put it there. Our box office agent didn't put it there. Nobody had put it there. And we looked into him, and he was an old Capitol Theater board member, like one of the first board members here. And it turns out he actually died in the theater.
So stuff around here has been here for ages, like 100 years ago.
I think the house often feels like it's the most haunted because it's so big and vast and silent. Like you really notice all the noise in here when nobody else is in the theater, so it gets quite spooky quite fast.
Now we're going to go down to the costume shop, one of the Capitol Theater's haunted hotspots.
So sometimes when you come down into the costume shop and go into the back corner, it feels very ominous and spooky, and you feel like you almost have to leave. I've heard things moving upstairs. When I'm down here, I can hear chairs moving around upstairs when I'm the only person in the building.
With the theater being built nearly 100 years ago, and it getting ruined due to neglect halfway through its lifetime, with dark hallways, creepy basements, it has the perfect history for a haunted location. Now we are moving a little bit outside of Nelson, and we're going to Kokanee Creek Park. We are currently looking for the Whispering Pools in Kokanee Creek Park. It's a bit off path, so we can't find it yet. We split up to find it, which might end badly, but here it is, finally, long awaited. We're here at the Whispering Pools, which was part of an estate that eventually got burned down, and these are the remains of it. It says that if you go on one end and you whisper, someone on the other end can hear you. Let's check it out. We tried whispering in the Whispering Pools, and it actually worked. I could hear my fellow investigator on the other side of the pools when she whispered. After 3 long days of expert ghost hunting, full of spooky stories, chilling investigations, we finally have all the information that we came for.
Now that we have learned some history, shown you around, and heard some stories, we will leave it up to you to decide if these places are really haunted or if it's all just rumors.